Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Gladiator II, 2024, the much-anticipated sequel to Ridley Scott's 2000 epic Gladiator. The original film is considered a modern classic, so it's no surprise that fans have been eagerly awaiting the sequel. But does Gladiator II live up to its predecessor, or does it fall short? Well, we're going to break it down for you. As always, there will be spoilers. The plot: a new era, same battles. Gladiator II picks up years after the events of the first film. Maximus Decimus Meridius, played by the legendary Russell Crowe, is gone. In this sequel, the focus shifts to his son, Lucius, who is now grown up and seeking vengeance for the death of his father. However, unlike the first film, the story doesn't rely entirely on gladiatorial combat. Instead, it's more about the political and personal struggle Lucius faces as he comes of age. Lucius, played by a talented young actor, finds himself in the Roman Senate, grappling with a corrupt system that killed his father and betrayed his family. The story takes a more introspective turn as Lucius aims to reclaim his family's honor, while dealing with the power dynamics and political machinations within the Roman Empire. This shift in focus to a more political narrative makes the film feel different from its predecessor, which was driven by Maximus's quest for revenge. While the shift is interesting, it also raises questions about whether this was the right approach for a Gladiator sequel. The film spends much of its runtime building political intrigue, which can feel slow and sometimes even tedious compared to the visceral action and emotional investment of the first movie. There are moments of tension and intrigue, but they don't quite pack the same punch as the Gladiator arena battles or Maximus's personal vendetta. The return of Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe. One of the biggest draws for Gladiator II is Ridley Scott's return to the director's chair. His mastery of historical epics and intense action sequences is legendary, and there was hope that he would capture the same magic that made the first film such a success. Unfortunately, despite Scott's experience, the pacing of Gladiator II feels sluggish at times, and the emotional stakes are harder to grasp. Russell Crowe's absence is deeply felt. Maximus was a powerful character, and his presence looms large over this sequel. The film tries to honor his legacy, with several references to his actions and influence, but the lack of Crowe's commanding presence leaves a void. The new focus on Lucius just doesn't capture the same gravitas, and it often feels like the sequel is trying to recapture the emotional impact of Maximus's journey without fully succeeding. Crowe's legacy is certainly felt, but Gladiator II struggles to balance the expectations of fans with its desire to explore a new direction. The emotional beats simply don't hit as hard, and Lucius's journey of revenge doesn't evoke the same kind of passion that Maximus's did in the original film. The action, missing the gladiatorial spark. One of the defining aspects of the original Gladiator was its brutal, unforgettable action scenes. The gladiatorial combat was visceral, raw, and emotional. Unfortunately, Gladiator II doesn't quite capture that same energy. There are some action scenes, but they're not as frequent or intense as fans might expect. The film spends much more time on political maneuvering and Lucius's personal growth, which means the gladiator action is relegated to a few key moments. When the action does come, it feels a bit more staged, and while the choreography is solid, it lacks the urgency and emotional investment that made the first film's battles so memorable. There's a fight in the arena near the end of the movie, but even this feels more like a backdrop to the political drama unfolding rather than the emotional climax of the film. The lack of high-stakes action is a big misstep, especially considering the legacy of the first movie. The movie's attempt at addressing power, corruption, and the cycles of violence is admirable, but the lack of a strong emotional anchor means these themes don't resonate as powerfully as they could. It's not a bad movie, it's just a disappointing follow-up to one of the greatest historical epics of all time. If you're a fan of the original Gladiator, you might appreciate the world-building and some of the themes explored, but be prepared for a slower, more politically driven story than you might expect. In conclusion, Gladiator II lacks the raw emotional power and action that made the first film so iconic. While it does have some strong moments and a solid cast, it ultimately fails to recapture the magic of the original. For fans of Gladiator, it's worth a watch, but don't go in expecting a sequel that lives up to the legacy of the first film. That's it for today's review. What did you think of Gladiator II? Did it live up to your expectations, or did it fall short? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more reviews and breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.